There's a song I used to hear at a place I used to work. That I feel like, I don't know if it is screamo, but I feel like it would fit. I can't remember what the name of the song was. Something about someone stole his radio, and now he listens to the car in silence. And he's like screaming throughout the half of the song, and in the other half of the song, he's just being really upset that somebody stole his car radio.
That actually sounds vaguely familiar.
I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious what genre it was. Somebody stole my car radio. Oh, that's 21 Pilots? That's not what I was expecting.
When you mentioned that, that was one of the songs that came to my mind because I think it's called Car Radio, right? The song from 21 Pilots. But I know that I have a more vague memory involving a song with a radio that might have been like punk or something that you might be describing.
It's also possible that this was a cover that may have gone a little more hard with it. But it's not even metal at all.
Maybe you're
It's
not.
rap rock, alternative indie, rave music, electronic rock, alternative pop, dance electric.
Is that 21 Pilots?
The album that was in. Actually, I thought that was that song specifically.
You might not be using the right keywords. You might need to look at like screamo or punk or something in there.
Let's see, is our radio screamo? Maybe it doesn't have enough screaming. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe because it's only half the song, it doesn't count.
I'm curious about this too, and I'm gonna try to look it up also.
I don't know.
I liked it.
Oh shit. I thought maybe I found something, but it looks like it's on TikTok and I'm not logged in. So I can't even see it.
Well, I'm curious. I really want to know now, so I'm just gonna play it. You'll have to just cut this part out. This probably isn't the most interesting part anyways, but I'm curious. Actually, I don't know if it'll pick it up or not. Let's see. Where's the screaming part? Where's the yelling part? I can't find the yelling part. Well, I must have heard a cover because there was a lot of screaming in the version I heard. Or maybe there's another version.
I'm really curious about that because I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't find it either. I know that there's a song where 21 Pilots screams towards the end of it, but I don't think it was that song.
The normal part sounds the same. Just there's a lot more yelling in it. It might be a cover.
It's gonna be one of those things. Have you ever heard of the most mysterious song on the internet?
That sounds familiar.
There was somebody, I don't even know where they got it from, but they had the audio file of a song and they didn't know who the artist was, and they made a post on some forum, and they said, "Hey, does anybody know what song this is, like, and who plays it?" And everybody on the forum was like, "No, I don't know." And like it drove people mad that like they didn't know who it was. Like it was a big mystery, and like it spread to like other forums, and like soon like it was all over the internet and it became known as the internet's most mysterious song. And people who were researching this song linked that it was once played on this radio show. It was in another country. I want to say like Sweden or like Norway or somewhere in like Europe or that general area. And the radio host was like, "It's possible that we played this song on the radio, and like we have records of everything that we've played, but we have years and years of records from the entire time that this radio station has been active. So it's like I can't really look through all the records and match the song." And he said like,
Yeah.
and they played the song on that radio station again if they did play it the first time. And they said, "This is the most mysterious song on the internet." It was German. Now I remember. They played it on this German station, I guess, to see if because there was a lot of buzz about it, and also to see if anybody recognized it on the radio. And there was a bunch of German people who either said like, who cares about if nobody knows who did this song? Like literally doesn't matter. And then some people were like, I can't imagine that you would have played such a boring song on this radio station once.
No, people love mysteries like that too. There's a lot. There's a internet mysteries, and it's like immediately obvious. Even like some really popular things. Yeah, you know the Jeff the Killer image.
Yeah.
No one knows where that came from.
Hmm.
There's like a $10,000 reward to anyone who can find the origin of it. No one's been able to find it.
That's crazy because I feel like most creepypastas, like you can trace the origin of it. Like,
I think the first known like time seeing it on the internet was in like 2004 or 2005 on a Japanese website. And no one else has been able to find anything earlier than that.
That's interesting. There's a lot of videos where someone, we don't know the origin of a thing, and somebody will do a bunch of research to find it, and sometimes they find it and sometimes they don't. Like there was a video about who created the doot doot skull meme with the trumpet. A lot of people thought that it was a thing from the 3D movies window movie maker. It was a 3D program that Windows made that they can make animations with, but it wasn't from there. And it was this whole big rabbit hole. And then there was another video about a symbol that is often used in a certain genre of like metal, is like extreme metal or like grindcore punk or something. And it's a music note that has like a X on it, and it's been called like the non-music symbol or anti-music symbol. And a lot of like extreme bands or like punk use that symbol in like their artwork, but nobody knows who did it first. And the guy who was researching it, he found the earliest usage of that image was used in the artwork for this band. And he contacted the band and he asked them where they got that image from, and they said, I don't remember.
Oh, well, they'll never know.
It's just one of those mysteries, man. I don't know. So we may never find out if this Screamo car radio song is a real thing or not, because it's lost to
actually, there's also what's that term? The Mandela effect, for when a bunch of people remember something that didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Or you can't find proof that happened.
That's true. It might also be that. I remember I watched a video about the Mandela effect in SpongeBob, where people remember seeing things that didn't actually happen in the episode.
Interesting. Was it one thing in specific, or were there like a bunch of things?
They had a bunch of different instances. Some of them were really like boring. Like there was one where Mr. Krabs, he actually said, "I'm Eugene, I like money," but people thought he said, "I'm Eugene, I love money." But then there was a more interesting one where in the episode where Squidward was taking care of SpongeBob's snail Gary, he accidentally injects himself with snail plasma and it turns him into a snail. People remember seeing him transform into the snail, but that actually didn't happen. It just cut to a different shot and he was already a snail.
Don't think I saw that episode. I did. I forgot.
It was funny.
I've seen some of the old episodes.
It is an older episode, and it's funny because SpongeBob is showing him like the food and stuff that he gives Gary, and they're like these ginormous cans. And then when SpongeBob comes back, Squidward totally forgot to feed him, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And he goes into the house and he puts down this massive can into his tiny bowl, and it's just like this pile of food, and he's like throwing food into his mouth. He's like, "Come on, eat!" And he's just so like sick and weak that he doesn't eat.
Oh jeez, PETA wouldn't be happy about that one these days.
No, they would not be.
The good old days when they could get away with more.
They get away with a lot of weird stuff these days. Actually, like they banned the episode where. Do you remember the episode where Mr. Krabs is trying to feel young again, and they're like, "Do you feel it, Mr. Krabs?" And then at the end, they break into a girl's house and get their panties, but it turns out it's his Mr. Krabs' mom's house.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Really?
Or I blotted it out. I have like very specific memories of SpongeBob, like handsome Squidward, the Goofy Goober thing, uh, the caveman,
Oh yeah, with the time machine.
and those are the like most obvious ones. But there's other ones like when Squidward goes to like the squid compound to go live in like Squid Paradise.
Oh yeah, where it was like
Actually, I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes was Pinhead and the other one.
oh, Dirty Dan.
It's when they go to Sandy's.
Yeah, yeah.
Dirty Dan, Pinhead, and Dirty Dan. That was really funny.
Anyways, they banned the episode that I was talking about where they get without him knowing he gets his mom's panties because it was like problematic because I mean yeah, they're like breaking into someone's house and like stealing their underwear, but like it was a joke. But they let an episode where SpongeBob gets a splinter and like it gets like swollen, infected, and it gets like this huge and it's fucking disturbing as hell. And that's okay for some reason.
Yeah, SpongeBob. Oh, like it always have that still frame. Like they just gets like way more realistic looking, and it's like way more disturbing.
Like when it zooms in on his face, and he's like, "I don't need it." That shit disturbed me when I was little.
Honestly, it was a bit disturbing as a kid seeing that. Dang. Like, let me think. What was a specific scene? SpongeBob got drunk on ice cream, and he had a hangover the next day.
Yeah, that was in the movie. He thought he was gonna get Employee of the Month, but then he gave it to Squidward, I think, and then he got all upset about it, and so he was like drinking at Goofy Goober's by eating ice cream.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was like fun of like what a hangover is until I was older. I was like, oh, he just got sick from eating too much ice cream.
It's funny how people who make cartoons they have two audiences in mind: the kids and the parents that take them to see either the movie or like sit down with them and watch the TV with them.
And I think that's a good thing because it means you can enjoy it a second time when you're an adult.
Yeah. Did you know that in I think it was the opening scene of Shrek 2, either 2 or 3, where the like medieval police are chasing Prince Charming, and he's on his horse. And it's like, we got a suspect on a white Bronco, and that was a reference to the car chase with OJ because he was in a. I think the car was a like Bronco or something like that, and it was white. It's like,
oh,
mind blown.
I had no idea. I know Bronco is like a kind of specific car, but I didn't make that connection at all. I certainly wouldn't have made the connection to OJ.
I saw it in like a meme, and that's how I found out. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, there was that old cartoon. It was a movie. It had mice in it, and apparently there's a scene that actually had porn in it. And it was like a pretty popular movie, but it was like they were like flying by buildings, and like in one of the windows something was happening, and nobody noticed until like decades later.
Oh, because when they were filming it, they just went and they didn't.
I guess somebody snuck it in, and nobody noticed.
I can't think of any movies with mice in it. I guess the first one that comes to mind is Stuart Little.
No, it was all animated. And it's older than Stuart Little. This is such a weird Google search. Of course, the results are exactly what I wanted.
So if it was animated by hand, then somebody put that in there on purpose, right?
Yeah, somebody intentionally snuck it in there.
That's crazy. You know, a lot of animators do that. Like, a lot of Easter eggs that you see in movies weren't something that was agreed upon by everyone. Just there was one animator on the team that like got bored and put a little Easter egg in there just because.
I guess that kind of makes sense. I guess it makes it more exciting to find an Easter egg that way. Mm-hmm. I think Google is concerned about what I'm trying to look up now. It gave me a warning now.
It's like, whoa, what Rule 34 shit are you looking for?
Yeah, I don't know how to tell Google. Like, there was an old cartoon that was like totally PG. Oh, what? Maybe I'll look it up more as a question. What was that old cart. Oh, maybe I'll look up mouse cartoon that had a porn scene. The Secret of Nim? Was it Secret of Nim?
I think I know which
See,
movie that is. Yes, I know this fucking movie. This movie was. I remember watching this movie a few times when I was young, and it was like such a fever dream. It was weird because like I kind of liked the movie, but also it was kind of disturbing to me.
I like remember vague bits about it. I remember it being a little bit weird.
I might want to rewatch this. It'd be an interesting video to make, like this movie that I haven't seen since I was like, I don't know, like 5 or 8 or something, and then like going back and like all the memories coming back to me, you know?
Yeah, honestly, there's so many like old movies that I really seemed good as a kid, but I haven't like rewatched at all in like, within a decade.
You know what's funny?
I'm curious.
I have vague memories of this movie that was like a ripoff of Bug's Life, and it was like really shittily animated. I think my mom bought it just because like she thought it was like Bug's Life or something, or it was for kids, I guess, and she bought it, which surprised.
Was it? Did it have termites in it?
Termites. I just remember the scene where there were like these bigger bugs and they were attacking the protagonist bugs, and the way that they were attacking was just like, yeah. It was like the least amount of work that you could possibly put in an animation, and the voice acting was cringe. It's just the super vague memory. Like I actually remember I was watching a video about knockoff movies, and they talked about that movie, and then it like unlocked a memory in my brain because I didn't even remember that existed because it was such a long time ago since I've seen it.
I was gonna say that maybe it was Ants with a Z.
I remember that movie
that
too.
sounds like. I would say it sounds like you had worse animation than Ants. Ants had like reasonable animation.
I think Ants was trying to capitalize on what Bug's Life did, and I remember it being good but also kind of weird, but not as like good or well known as Bug's Life. But I'm talking about something else. This was like Windows 3D movie maker animation, you know.
I don't know what it is, and I have seen some cartoons with pretty bad animation, but I can't think of one with ants specifically.
It's kind of weird how there's this whole market of movies that are knockoffs of real movies, and they make a lot of money just because people confuse it for the actual movie that they think it is, and it's not. I remember that when I was working at Walmart, I worked in the electronics department, and we sold all the DVDs for movies there, and we had Dune, and then we had Planet Dune. And I was like, do these movies have any relation to each other? And my supervisor was like, nah, it's probably just a knockoff movie. And I looked it up, and like, yeah, it's just literally so that people think that it's Dune and they buy that one. And it's a shitty movie, but it's too late now. The movie studio already made their money.
I don't think I've seen anything with Dune related, to be honest. I know I've heard good things about the book, but I've also heard that it's like really long, so I've just never looked into it.
I saw the movie and I felt like I didn't like it because I felt like I was missing a lot of information that maybe was included in the book. And it kind of seems like there's a lot going on and it doesn't explain it that well. Like there's a lot of like, it kind of reminds me of Star Wars because it's like science fiction, but there's also a certain level of mysticism to it because like there's like a prophecy and like this dude goes to another planet and he kind of like is fulfilling that prophecy. And then there's this power called the Voice where I think only people of a certain lineage from a certain planet have it, where they speak in a certain way, and in the movie they do this effect where their voice gets deeper and they're like, and it like forces the person who you're talking to obey you.
That actually kind of reminds me of another movie. What was it called? There's this guy that goes to Mars, but back in time. Let me see. John Carter. No, is it John Carter?
The only movie that is coming to mind that
I can't tell
takes place on Mars is Total Recall.
Oh, it is John Carter. Apparently, it's a Disney movie.
I don't think I've even heard of that one. I don't watch a lot of movies. There's a lot of good movies out there that I just
I mean,
haven't gone around to watching. Same thing with like everything. There's a lot of really good games and
it was The
books and
Rescuers. I finally found it. It was The Rescuers. It's another mouse movie. Now I just need to delete all my search history the last 5 minutes.
FBI, open up.
I don't know why Google wasn't able to like figure out what I was trying to look up. It kept giving me the wrong results.
It's kind of like the mysterious internet thing, but like I remember specifically that there was this video where somebody was talking about a movie that he saw a long time ago, but he didn't remember what it was called. And he was looking at it was called something like White Boy Can't Dance or something like that. And when he would try looking it up, it would bring up the movie White Boy Can't Jump. And he's like, Google's trying to gaslight me into thinking this was the movie, but it's not it. And then eventually he found it. And it's called Daddy Can't Dance, and it's a movie about breakdancing. It was kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, it's like kind of like that thing where you're like trying to find something, and it's like Google think it's something else.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Google was trying to convince me that this thing didn't happen.
Like
I had to do a lot more Googling than I thought. I had to just end up looking up inappropriate scenes in Disney movies.
What would be the opposite of a Mandela effect, where you know something happened but you can't find any trace of it?
I mean, it's still kind of the Mandela effect if you can't ever find it, because then you can't prove that it happened.
Well, I mean, I guess I see that logic, but like the Mandela effect is like it didn't happen, and in this case, it did. I mean, I guess it's like if a forest falls in the tree, yeah, it's like if the forest falls in the tree and no one was there to hear it, did it fall, or did it make a sound?
Well, there's some people like who will like believe something vehemently, like did happen, but it, as far as like everything you can tell, it didn't happen. I guess that may not be the Mandela effect for them. Mandela effect for everyone looking at that.
I've been recording for an hour and 9 minutes.
I reckon this last half an hour is probably slightly off topic.
I feel like it'd be interesting to put up 2 videos. The first where it's like what we planned, and the second half where we're just talking, because like I feel like we talked about some funny and interesting things.
Dude, the last half hour is more like podcast.
Kind of. What if we make a podcast?
Good. I technically have a podcast that I've just never uploaded any of the videos.
Yeah, I remember that you said that you had like a friend that you did that with.
Yeah.
I think I'm better about uploading things though. So if we were to make a podcast, it will actually go somewhere.
I was okay with where it was. You know, I was like, it was fun to record it. You know, once I like upload more videos, then I'll like start worrying about uploading podcasts, you know, but until I'm uploading videos on a regular basis, I was like, you know, it's fine. Don't really care.
Alrighty. I still haven't done the outro for the original video.